Okay, so I just found. Whoa, my face is going crazy. I just found this post on Reddit here. It just says, Americans, how do you feel about PBS and NPR losing their funding? And that is crazy to me. NPR losing their funding? Okay. That's a thing, I suppose. Hold on, let me pull up my screen. Video capture, video, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm going over here on the left now. Okay, ignore that. Hold on, wait. This. Americans, how do you feel about PBS and NPR losing their funding? And this is crazy to me. The fact that, alright, what did I even say? So what I said is, with the F word, I got an email about this, but I didn't realize it was true. Why would they do this? My brother literally donates to NPR because of the amount he listens to it. I mean, it is relatively good info, or a good way to get info if you don't look stuff up. Okay, if you don't look stuff up, but the half of America thinks they are plugged in by watching hours of AI cat slop. If this is the way they destabilize information gathering to the masses, like that's a question on like if they what's the name of the movie? How the World Ends or something. No, that is not the movie. It's like a 2022 movie. Leave the World Behind is a movie from 2023. I'm a year off. But it involves, like, literally something I've thought about before where you, I mean, where you do a bunch of separate attacks all at the same time, all unionized between multiple different countries all over the globe directly on one country. And this is a weird thing to think about, but I mean, everybody thinks about weird things. And you basically, it's just a way to get info to not be properly stringed about, like easily accessible amongst most people. And so every like group in this like post-apocalyptic world is getting different info than like a person like a city over or whatever. So everyone thinks they're being attacked by one country, and then another person just like over a few yards over or whatever could think, oh yeah, we're getting attacked by this other country, and it's like, oh okay, like how this relates is probably more like it doesn't apply here, but it's NPR has always been a good way to get information for the general American that doesn't use technology. There's someone at my work actually who never uses his phone. He doesn't have one. He just doesn't. You just don't have like he just doesn't have this like technology. He doesn't know how to what an email is. He doesn't have like certain functions that require like mechanics that we have, like you and me, like everyone that has YouTube is. He doesn't understand the concept of like how thousands of people can watch a live stream at 1 minute. Like that is just baffling to him. Like a whole stadium of people just all in one group, like watching just one guy play a game, like bigger than like the biggest stadium in the world, like a FIFA like area or whatever. It's just baffling to him that that is possible. Like, he can barely understand the concept of like 10 people watching, let alone like 50,000 or something. That is, I mean, I'm sure this biggest stadiums are like 250. I want him. Yeah, I can't type. Only 70 to 80,000? Interesting. Expected, yeah, okay, 132,000. Expected 250,000 for some reason, but I guess that's 250,000 people. But either way, there's been streams with more people actively watching, like literally like Markiplier, Unis Honest, that had like 1,000,000 people at one time, you know, like it happens. It happens way too often, honestly. And NPR has always been a staple in American like thoughts and ideology. But it's not only NPR that is the problem. Whoops. That is for something else. Not NPR, but like, how do you zoom in? Dang it. I gotta get... Alright. It's a matter of, being a being. This is a document I made in 2019, December 9th. It's about really the concept of what PBS, public broadcasting station. There is a matter of overwhelming, that is a weird thing to say, overwhelming amount of like not properly well construed like ideas and like I don't know. What I'm thinking right now is just like, you know, that puppet show. Yeah, it's Mr. Rogers, isn't it? Mr. Rogers puppet show. Because he had Daniel Tiger, didn't he? Yeah, okay, yeah. He had the whole castle as well. Yep. Daniel Striped Tiger, yep. I remember all this. King Friday, yep. Okay. It's just like my idea of... I'll just say it. These past few months, or more like years, I believe there was no hope left for humanity. That we've reached a point where we were overwhelmed in sin. That's a crazy thing to say. I was in a bad place. but maybe just that little bit of hope is good enough. That residual part of hope from the time of the Beatles, Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers. During those times, they standed their ground during Crisis Revolution, and it was beautiful. But then again, I was never able to see those times. Not completely. Maybe my brain is simply trying to cling onto whatever. Maybe. With that, we can stay afloat. There isn't much good left in society. Anyway, this video doesn't matter because the future of humanity was screwed 5, 10, 20, I'll add 30 years ago, 35, whenever Reagan's happened. The invention of the internet itself will probably be the very downfall of humanity. At the very least, it will be either due to the lack of technology or the overwhelming amount of technology. But in the end, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me because I won't be there to witness it myself because I expect to die in the next 60, 70 years. Anyway. Well, actually, it could happen sooner. But here I was talking about the Crisis and Revolution. There's several episodes of Mr. Rogers in 2001 after the attacks on the Twin Towers. Sorry, I had to close my eyes to remember what I'm thinking about. And there was the ideas. What's it? The Black Rights, Mr. Rogers. It's the Black Cop. Yes, this
show.
This was one of the most important characters to the Mr. Rogers universe, even though he was probably in 5 episodes, let's be honest. I don't even know. But he, the people of now would never understand the difference between now and 30 years ago. I mean, we can understand, but there's always been a divide. You can see that divide the closer you go to, want to say the lower half of America. Yeah, lower half of America. There's more of a divide, but still, it's been getting better in recent years. I mean, I'd like to say that it's been getting better for the past since the 80s, 90s. It's like you can find films of what's it called? I watched a video from the 80s that had a black worker at a gas station talking with some kids, and it was a nice, gentle reminder that it wasn't always bad, or that it was actually a lot better back then. But that's one side of America versus another where a city could be completely decrepit and whatnot. It's where was I going with this idea? Anyway, NPR. it's a fundamental being of American society, and that is along with Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers, and that is something that I am surprised has been affected. I need to close that tab. Affected by some random legislation that had always been this is where we got our information as kids. You either had PBS, Cartoon Network if you paid for it, or Disney Channel if you paid for it, which many families didn't. So PBS was their go-to, and we had things like Wild Kratts, and we learned to care for animals. Holy crap! What is that? What did I type in? What is this? Huh? Is this a VPN thing? Is this a Nord VPN thing? Holy crap. Anyway, we had things, and for them to be taken away from the next generation and being replaced with things like a profit organization, what is a profit organization? Isn't Coco Melon a profit? There's no way Coco Melon's non-profit. That's impossible. It's entertainment for 3D animation. What the heck? And they make billions a year. Disney wants to buy it, I guess. I mean, you know what? Give that corporation mega corp moment. But oh yeah, dude, Zubu, Mafu, my dude. Yeah, we had a lot. Oh, Curious George. I should have mentioned that. I don't know. Uh, yeah, but it's just a lot of. Oh yeah, I guess I could have mentioned like Sesame Street and stuff. But like it is learning, and there's been like a divide between uh, conservatives and liberals between this, even though it's all like you have to learn. Like if you aren't given the resources to learn, then what's the point of like being around? I don't know. It's like yeah, like recently there's been a lot of like, oh, so like Sesame Street is now liberal or whatever, but it's always just been like a place to get or learn like ABCs and doing like being human, it's like empathy. Like I don't know, it shouldn't have changed. Like it doesn't, like it's just that the gap between these two parties has diverged. It hasn't diverged enough. It's just that one of the parties went too far on their side, and the majority of them became too conservative. It's like I don't know. It's just a matter of like I said in this here 20 years ago. The internet was invented. When was Google a thing? 1996? 1980, 98. What? That's 27 years ago. But when was it? When was Google at the fingertips of most people, huh? Man, I'm sorry, I'm bad at typing. And by that I mean I'm still on the floor, so don't blame me. It gained popularity in 2000s. Yeah, it is a simple thing. It just Google became. People don't know how bad Google was in like 2008, bro. You try to search something and it's just question mark, question mark, question mark. Your sentence is too long, brother. What are you talking about? Like we've never heard like now if you search something, there's almost always a response unless you do like this, like that. Then it's like, oh, it even still gives you a response for that. That's crazy. Like that's not even words. Anyway, the the world became like, oh yeah, we want to be more conservative or whatever, and it's like, okay, you want to be more conservative, but by using the internet, isn't that already liberal? Like, I don't know. There's just been a weird like what is conservative, what is liberal anymore, and I think that's why they're attacking NPR, because NPR is slightly liberal. Which is exactly what Sesame Street is. Sesame Street is slightly liberal because learning is that. I'm not really sure. That's an odd thing to say. It's just a weird perspective amongst the world right now, and I just wanted to go over it because it's completely, I don't know. It's off-putting. It's off-putting what is happening. Because because how many people of the world listen to radio? How many Americans listen to radio? Radio, 272, which is 92% of the U.S. population listens to the radio. And that makes sense. Everyone that has a car would listen to their thing on the car. But if you have a phone, then you might download stuff and stuff. But if you're, I don't know, conserving battery or something, you turn on the radio. It's simple, like thoughts. Like that's what you do. How many people listen to NPR now? That's a better question. It's probably like 14%. 42 million. That's still pretty good out of, what, 360 million Americans? How many Americans are there? That's such a funny question. 342 million. I'm off. But that was, that's July? When did we do a census? Interesting. But, I mean, there's always a de facto amount of who knows. But it's probably not in the millions anymore, thinking about, like, the past couple years. But, you know, some people just don't write down these things. Like, you can live at a place and just not have any data on your existence, which is really weird, because someone at my work also has that. There's no evidence that he lives at blah, 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 because it's just his friend's place. And this is the same friend that doesn't use his phone. So if the guy who doesn't use his phone pays the bills for a friend that doesn't quote unquote exist, who's doing what? Like, how are you sure you're filling out things properly? You have to go to a library. You have to print things. Do you even know how to use like a computer at the library? Do you know how to type? Like, these are weird questions, but they're necessary because not everyone can use their technology. Anyway, let's see. Paris light bias. I don't know. There's just a necessary amount of learning you can get from NPR and PBS, and it's very sad to see that, like, morality would be disappearing and going to a profit organization like on YouTube, funded by ad revenue and children's media. Like, we've lost a lot over the years, and I mean, even Mr. Rogers was talking about, like, how tragic the future will be, like, but, I mean, he never explicitly stated it, but he's mentioned, Rogers, oh, wow, you can watch all of them on here. That's amazing. Oh, wait, this isn't properly done, but they tried. I don't know. It's just nice to see people that care for humanity are willing to go out and do these things, like, for basically nothing. Yeah. There's a few ideas that I wanted to go over that were involving, like, Lena Khan and how, like, the Lemonade podcast just came out on it about talking about certain issues that happen from giving too much power back in the Reagan, like, presidency, that flipped over to the Clinton and then went to like Obama and then back to Trump, and then it just completely overflipped the way that society was going, because we always wanted to, like, the people of the 60s are reminded of their childhood and being like, oh, that was great, you could buy a burger for like 25 cents or whatever, and, like, that's amazing to me. Get it for a few pennies. We don't even have pennies anymore, really. we don't use cash. Um, but it's just like we went and we became the opposite of what we were aiming for because people don't read the text that they are given, you know? And I mean, even now, you could say the same thing with how certain actions, especially in the, what's it called? I want to say the Electoral College. What is that? What is executive branch is what I mean, I think. Well, I mean, all over. It's just been improperly, like, not viewed, but like last minute kind of like put together, kind of like, oh, this is my homework from 2 days ago, kind of, or like this homework's due in like 45 minutes. I gotta send this report, you know, or like I didn't do my homework, so I'm doing it like during class, like kind of thing. So it's like these things were all like funded. Like this place was funded back in 1912, nearly 115 years ago or something. And it's like, oh, 13. Well, yeah, whatever. But it's like, oh, this is important for all of us, and we should be giving it more like power, where you should be like letting it do what it needs to do, because we unfortunately thought, oh, maybe a monopoly wouldn't be so bad because we figured, we've done it. Capitalism was the perfect system, even though it wasn't, because it was going so well in the 60s. And then we, like, in the 90s, every single company was the majorest thing. Like, you had, what is it, Sprint or AT&T? I don't know. You had like AT&T. You had what's stuff in the 90s that happened? I guess you had your Googles, your Microsofts that were still like popping into the world. I mean, Apple even was a big thing. I mean, it was like a big entrance thing. Pretty sure like computers were like $22,000 or something back then. It was a 90s Mac. Let's see. What? Oh, wow. But like 902 megabytes of RAM. This was like, oh, you buy this because you don't want to be found as weird for using a computer or whatever. That this is they call these like work machines, you know. This is what replaced the typewriter. Think of all the jobs lost from the typewriter, you know. But you know, there's been this like flip in how America was going like 40 years ago or whatever, and now it's gone to us, and we're expected to make America quote unquote great again. Like, we can't undo what's been done in a mere year or two. This is like 30 years of overwhelming amount of fixation and like thoughts made by companies to get the biggest advantage in human history, and we aren't doing anything about it. Like, we almost can't. I mean, like, from what we can do is we can wait for the EU to do something about it, because they're actually willing to go the long way. But like places like the FTC, FCT, if it was FTC, like they aren't built the same way as they should be. These guys need to be funded more in order to break down the complete and like disparaging illegal deals that are happening in front of all of America that lawyers just a-okay whether they're corrupt or whether it's just they don't read. Reading comprehension is necessary. I mean, maybe it'll be replaced with AI in like 40 years, but it's not good enough now. We need small things like this. We don't need NPR to disappear for no reason. We don't need like a quarter of Americans to fall off the map in knowledge about politics or whatever because they aren't getting the same amount of info. People that are heavily connected, like truly heavily connected to various parts of the internet politically. So we're just separated on that. And I don't know, there's a lot of jumbling thoughts about how I think the conservatives have become more liberal than liberals in the recent years. Or maybe just this year in general, because what has happened with this year? Why did they support AI so much? I don't support AI at all. I mean, I support it enough to have little buy text and then little click things so that I can read to make sure that it's real. Like, look at this. This is all info from Wikipedia, a place that we're quote unquote not supposed to trust, according to our teachers, and it's strung about on on Google's front topmost page, and you have to click on the thing next to it to figure out info from genuine people. Like, what is happening? I don't know. But this is where it is, and this is where we are now. And today is the 7th of the 18th, 2025, and it is 1:06 p.m. EST, lol. And I'm surprised by what is happening. Anyway, that's all for you people from the future. I will be dead in 70 years. See y'all.